Hey everyone, I'm Rochelle Moses and I'm a relationship coach helping people build and rebuild healthy relationships with themselves and others. And in this video, I'm going to talk about a common misunderstanding that people have about domestic violence. A lot of people have a difficult time understanding why a domestic violence victim would stay in an abusive relationship, and there are several reasons why this is the case. Number one is that a lot of times their abuser has cut them off from their support system. One of the first things an abusive partner will do is to get their victim to stop contacting their friends and family, and they might even get them to move away so that they can't easily access them. This can make it incredibly difficult for the victim to reach out for help because they no longer feel like they have anyone to turn to. Reason number two is that the victim could be financially dependent on their abuser. It's common for abusive partners to cut off their victim's access to credit cards or bank accounts, and they might even prohibit them from working or gaining any sort of income. Many abusers will even give their victim a weekly allowance that's barely enough money to cover their bills and necessities. This makes it very challenging for the victim to leave because they don't have a way to support themselves or any children that they may have. Speaking of children, the abuser might be the one paying for any of the kids' schools or medical expenses, so the victim might feel like they can't leave because they need their children to continue to be supported. Reason number three is that the victim might be dependent on their abuser in other ways. For example, if the victim does work, they might have to rely on the abuser's car to be their transportation to their job. Also, substance use and addiction are co-occurring problems with domestic violence for a few different reasons. The first being that the victim could be using drugs or alcohol to cope with the abuse, and the second being that their abuser might be forcing them to use these substances as a means to keep them from leaving. Reason number four is that the victim doesn't want to leave their pet behind. Whether it be someone's dog or cat or bird or even reptile, that animal is a source of comfort for the victim. And a lot of times, abusers will threaten to hurt the animal if the victim tries to leave. And a lot of domestic violence shelters don't allow pets to come with them, so they don't want to leave their pet behind, meaning they stay. Reason number five is that the victim feels like they're unlovable or that they're too damaged for anyone else to want to love them. Their abuser convinces them that no one else could ever want them and that they're lucky that they love them. And there are times where their abuser shows them love and affection. This confuses them, and more often than not, it leads to them just staying. Reason number six is that the victim doesn't realize that what they're experiencing is abuse. This is especially common with emotional abuse or psychological abuse because a lot of people think that in order for it to be considered domestic violence, there has to be physical abuse. And this isn't the case. And finally, reason number seven is that staying is predictable. If the victim leaves, they no longer have eyes on their abuser and they can't see them coming. This is a scarier thought than staying and enduring the abuse. There are several other reasons why a domestic violence victim might stay in an abusive relationship, but these are some of the more common reasons. I'd like to know, did you find any of these reasons surprising? And if you found this video helpful, subscribe to my newsletter with the link below for more helpful tips on navigating relationships.